record. Here we go. Right, guys, I am not going to hang around and wait too long because obviously, you know, it's 8 p.m. I know everyone's got the kids and stuff to put to bed. So we are just going to go for it. And obviously, we've got it recorded. So anybody who wants to catch up at a later date can do so. So, guys, I am so excited to have Lyna on the call. And anyone who's been on the team for a while will know that I am totally obsessed with Lyna. I used to completely stalker. We've had some good parties, we've had some good nights out. We're even, you know, we're talking a good few years ago when we were doing our first events. Lyna used to come down. I think she just hit national marketing director, and I used to beg her every month. I was like, please come and talk at my events, and we would just have the best time at our parties. But Lyna has the most incredible business story. She's going to share it with us tonight. I'm going to stop nattering. I'm going to hand straight over to Lyna, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what it was like before Juice Plus, why she started, and what the business has done for her so far.
Sure. Thank you for having me on, guys. It's really nice to get on a Zoom and see so many like familiar faces. Hey Stella, hi Paula, hey Kirsty, hey Cherise, hi Linda, and I can see Ray and Sarah or Sarah. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but thanks for having me on, guys. So what was life like before Juice Plus? Life before Juice Plus, it was my 7-year anniversary in the business yesterday. So it's really strange to think about that question. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it still feels like just yesterday. Life was really hard. I'm sure some of you guys have heard my story, but I don't mind going through it again. I won't drag it out. Thanks, Linda. So before Juice Plus, I was working as a trainee teacher. I was in my final year at uni, couple of months, you know, to do my dissertation and wrap up. I was still a single mum then. I hadn't met Andrew, and I was just really, really struggling. So I was trying to juggle work because I had to be employed. I was juggling, obviously, raising Logan, and I was also juggling finishing my course and doing a dissertation. So life was busy and life was hard. I had zero time and I had even less money. So that was one of the things. So whenever I share my story, I've seen so many people repeat my story and they always say, you know, oh, Lyna was on benefits. I was actually never on benefits. I've never been on benefits, nothing wrong with them. But for me personally, I'd never been on benefits. And I think it was also lack of knowledge. You know, I come from a family, mum was a teacher, dad's a teacher. I didn't know that you could apply for certain things. So I was just trying to get by. I was in a bed sit that the council had put me in and had told me that I was not a priority to be moved unless I had another child, because my child was under a certain age, and obviously being that I was working. So there were so many things against me. But when I say to you I had no money, I'm talking like critical bailiffs at the door. I'm talking letters that my neighbours knew not to open. I lived in like a mini block of flats and my bedsit was at the bottom, and my neighbours knew not to open the buzzer because there was always a bailiff after me, and to the point where I made friends with some of the bailiffs. They would talk to me through the letterbox and they'll be like, "You're right." I would hear Logan crying, "How's he doing? He's got so big." It was just ridiculous. And it was actually the most depressing thing. I used to come home, I would wake up, let me tell you the actual schedule for people who usually say they don't have time or it's really hard. I would wake up at 4:30, get my son ready. We'll have to be at the house by 6. I would walk and take him to nursery. Yes, I would walk a good 30 minutes, take him to nursery, drop him to nursery, have to be in work for 7:30. And I was so broke, I did not have money sometimes to get on the bus, hence why we would walk. And then I remember moving him to a nursery that was closer to my house, but further from work. And I saved up to buy a bike so I could cycle to work, and I would save money on transport. And I actually ended up getting run over and I couldn't do that. And we've gone left, but it was a really horrific time, right? My storytelling is so rubbish, guys, but it was really, really horrific. And it was at that point where, like I said to you, early mornings, I'll go to work, finish work at 3:30, run, go and get Logan, because I had uni in the evenings that started at 4:30, so I only had an hour. So I would have to run, grab him, drop him to my mom's, go to uni till 9:30, go to my mom's, get him. We wouldn't get in till about 11. Then I would have to be doing, obviously, catching up with my assignments. I had planning for work, I had marking to do. So I would realistically not sleep till about 2. Then I'm up again at 4:30, and that was life. And I had to go uni on Saturdays as well, just to cram the course in. So it was actually horrific. And I sunk into a really horrible depression. My mental health was just really, really bad. I ended up being medicated. I was on sertraline for years just to keep myself leveled. You know, I'm trying not to be a statistic. I'm trying to do what they told me was the right thing. You know, I'm trying to provide for my son, but I just felt like I cannot catch a break. And I just kept doing it because everyone's like, well, that's life, isn't it? Life is hard. That's what we all go through. You hate the job, you're broke, you're tired, you're miserable, you're mentally not stable, but you just keep going. And that's what the advice that I would get whenever I would kind of complain, even to my parents or friends and family. And that was the norm. The norm for us was sleeping in a bed sit full of damp. I would spend Sundays wiping the damp off of behind Logan's cot. He ended up even developing sleep apnea and loads of health issues. If you don't know about the health issues with damp, it's actually really, really dangerous. And that was life. That was the norm for us. So I just kept repeating that cycle, same thing every year, month to month, just struggling. And I think I just got used to that routine. So that's a snippet of what life was before.
Lyna, do you know what? Honestly, I really feel like I get goosebumps when I hear your story. And I think there's so many parts of your story that are relatable to so many people as well. And the only reason I laugh when you said about the bike is because I know you've told me the story in depth about the bike. I didn't want you to think, why is she laughing? I know the story behind the bike.
It's really funny when I think about it. Even my upline, every time we speak, because the girl who introduced me to the business, I used to work with her, so she knows this well. Like I just remember you coming to work with a cast, and there was all this drama. The bus literally hit me, and I was like, oh my God, my life is a joke.
You know, when you look up to the sky and you're like, anything else?
Literally, I just remember laying there and people were like, can you move? And I'm like, I don't want to move, if you don't understand. I saved every penny for this bike and it was in pieces, and I'm like, oh my God, £100.
Have you ridden a bike since? Do you ride a bike now?
No, I can't do it.
Do you know what I did just want to say though? Like you're from what you say about, like, you know, when you was studying and working and leaving the house 6 a.m, coming home 11 p.m, marking, studying, assignments, like that, just honestly hats off to you, because that just shows like next level determination to just, you know, like better yourself and give it everything you've got. So absolutely amazing. So obviously then you joined Juice Plus. So what's Juice Plus done for you and what's it like now?
What has Juice Plus not done for me? So I joined Juice Plus 7 years ago, as I told you guys at the beginning, and it's just been completely life-changing. And I think everybody says that when they get on these calls, but it has literally been life-changing for me. From that first month, I just came in guns blazing. I was desperate. There was no inspiration, there was no, oh, I'm gonna give it a go, or let me see how it goes. It was literally like I needed £100 that I'd lost from the bike, right? I needed that to put on some of my bills. As I said to you guys, I was up to my neck in debt, council tax, everything, and I was like, okay, I'm barely surviving. If I can get extra £100, put half of it on some of my debts, the other half I wanted to save to do stuff with Logan. I'd never done anything with the kid. I'd never taken him nowhere other than maybe the park. We literally never did anything. There was no time and there was no money. So I threw myself into this, and within my first month, I would say within the first month is when my eyes really opened up to it. Within the first 2 weeks, I was ready to quit because nothing was happening. I was posting every hour. They told me post every hour, show results. I didn't even have the products, guys. I couldn't afford the products. It was get the products or join the business. I thought, let me join the business, make money so that I can get the products. So I desperately needed it to work. And for 2 weeks of pure consistency, I've just told you what my schedule is. I still posted every single hour. I still added 50 people every single day. I spoke to anybody and everybody. I did not sleep. I literally didn't sleep. I would get like maybe 2 hours sleep in the night, and I'll get up and do it on the bus. I'm doing my business in the toilet. They thought I had a bladder issue or some kind of condition at work because I was always running to the toilet. It's because my phone was vibrating. I was like, oh, I got a message. Oh, someone commented. So I was just throwing myself into it. And guess what? Nothing happened. Not one inquiry. If anything, I just got flooded with negativity from friends and family. Until that last week where it all kind of came together and people started coming up to me from all the adding. And that first month was absolutely incredible. I made £700. And yeah, in my first month. And I was like, because I did Partner Plus, I did SP same month, I got quite a lot of orders. And I recruited like 5-6 people in that month as well. So my first pay was £700 and I was rich. I was like running home crying. I remember picking up Logan and I sat on the floor in our bedsit and I just cried my eyes out. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be okay. Like, this thing is actually working. We're going to be all right. And I remember the first thing I did was book Legoland. He was obsessed with Lego and he still is. Always wanted to take him, and it was just too expensive back then. So I booked Legoland, booked us a little holiday in round the corner, and it was just the best feeling. And from there on, I was like, you know what, if I can make 700, I can double that. If I can have this kind of feeling and this kind of motivation, that I can go as far as possible. So my journey to begin with in the business was really fast. It was, like I said, SP within my first month. It was SC within my second month. I was SSC within 4 months in the business, and I was QNMD within 6 months in the business. So I was able to go part-time in the business within 4 months. And within 9 months, I'd quit my job. I was like, bye. I'd quit my job and I was like, I'm done with this. Let me push with Juice Plus. But I put every single second and minute that I could into building the business. So it completely changed my life in that first year. We got to go on our first holiday. I'd never left the country other than to go back home to Uganda, and my parents always paid for that. So we got to travel. We went to Portugal, we were in Amsterdam, we were in Malaysia, and it was just the best feeling. I was able to be a mom like that. I remember that feeling of, oh my God, like I'm actually a mom. Since I had Logan, I went back to work when Logan was about 3 months. So it was crazy hectic, and I never felt like I was that mom, and I got to spend that time with him. And as Tara knows, he got diagnosed with autism as well. So from quite young, he had a lot of issues in nursery and behavioral issues and appointments that I always used to have to beg to get time off. So the best feeling in the world was just to attend any and every appointment, just to work with him. And he was non-verbal up until 2 years after I quit my job. And I really genuinely believe it's because I was there and I was working with him. I specialized in special educational needs with my teaching and worked with children with autism. So I had all the skills and I was able to pour that back into my child. He started doing sign language. He started using little picture cards, PECs, and it was just the best year of my life, that first year in this business. And in terms of what it's continued to do for me, I guess bullet points, I've hit the top position in the company, I've picked up all the bonuses, I was able to move us out of the bed, sit into a rented property within about 6 months. When I hit QNMD, my QNMD bonus actually got us to be able to get that 2-bedroom rented property. I was then able to buy my first property and multiple properties, invest in other businesses. I've just been able to live a life of pure and utter freedom. If whatever that means to you, whatever your ideal of what freedom is what I've been able to do. And it's the best feeling in the world. Even like most recently, the last couple of years, where I've been able to retire my parents. You know, when COVID came, my dad was working in quite a vulnerable environment where everyone was getting hit with COVID. I said, Daddy, leave the job, I'll double what they pay you. And that's the best feeling. He's never gone back. My mum is also fully retired. They're only 50, you know, and now they're chilling. My mum's actually back home in Uganda. She just came back 2 weeks ago, and now she's gone back, and then she's going back again. So it is so beautiful watching my parents also just live out their dreams, because I've got a younger brother who I used to be a carer for, who's got special needs as well. He's got something called Fragile X. He's quite a handful, and there's no college, no respite that will take him. He's a 3-to-1, and he just wanted to be at home with his parents. Guys, from the day I retired my dad, this boy has not lashed out, not once. He has not been any trouble at all. He's so happy. He's excelled. And it's something that simple, just time. And the best feeling is that I was able to give that to them, and they live an incredible life. My kids are blessed for life. I've set them up where as soon as they hit 18, their life should be smooth. If they're good boys, if they're not, then I'll keep it. But if they're well behaved, I would love for them to be able to, you know, take over the portfolio that we've been able to build. So Juice Plus, for me, what it's done, it's given me choices. It's opened my eyes up to so much more. It's made me a better person. I'm more confident in myself. I think differently. My mindset is so different from what it was. The way that I talk, the way I carry myself, the boundaries that I set. There's so much nonsense that I used to accept because it's like I didn't feel like I was worthy of certain things. And because I've been able to acquire them through this business, you can't F with me, you know, like I'm literally just a very different person, and I love the woman that I am. Like, I absolutely love it. It's not that it's been straightforward. I'm not here to sell you a dream and tell you there's not been ups and downs. I'm sure we'll cover that in a bit. But overall, it's been the best experience of my life and the best 7 years. And I just can't wait for the next 7 years, I guess.
Lyna, I'm not like actually trying not to have a break. No,
I'm sorry, I speak so fast as well. I'm like,
I don't know what it is about you, and I've always been like this with you, and that's why I sound like a stalker, but your story just touches me so much. I find so much of it relatable. I don't know if it's with Logan or, you know, like with all the different bits.
We always have our little rants to each other.
Yeah, I know, but honestly, it just makes me absolutely cry. And I love that you touch on, you know, like when you first started, that £700 to you was life, and it, you know, that Legoland trip and those, you know, like the smaller things and the holidays, and then now obviously the completely life-changing stuff. Like, I really admire you, and I just have to congratulate you on all your success, because, you know, you deserve it a million times over. And I remember from our last conversation, was at the NMD meeting, probably a little bit drunk outside, and you were saying, yeah, me and Andrew are going on this trip, and we're going here. I don't know if it was like Liverpool or somewhere. We're going here, we're popping here, because we've got some properties there, I think.
Oh yeah, because we're going to go like, days
but that's the goal, and you've got properties you don't even know about and you haven't even seen them yet. So that's the level of what the business has done for Lyna so far. She's got houses you don't even know about.
Basically, I've never seen them, but they're there.
So guys, that's absolutely amazing. Obviously, you've heard about before, during, after, and what life's like now. So now we're going to just go through a few quick questions, not going to keep you too long. So Lyna, what are your top tips on bringing in new clients?
I mean, for me, it's always been the same. And I know it's such a big cliche, it's be a product of the product. I've always kept it quite simple. Use the products. As when I first joined this business, my mission was to get results. And remember, I said to you, I didn't actually have those products till I think it was about nearly 2 months into the business, but I got results. I followed the meal plan, I followed the detox plan, I shared my journey. So I would really emphasize the fact that, guys, we are building a business on social media. It's a people business. There is no way that you can expect to have a flood of customers, fresh in especially, or even where you are now, when you're not actually showing them what these products can do for you or for them, right? That could be weight loss, weight gain, skin, whatever it might be. Your journey is going to change over time. At the beginning, it was predominantly weight loss for me. I did that straight away, 4-month plan, lost incredible amount of weight. I went from like a size 18 down to a size 10, shared my whole journey. Document your journey, guys. It's not a secret. I don't know why people think using these products and being on plan is the secret. I see people just not putting it out there. You need to document, use your social media as a blog, you know, be relatable, let people feel your energy, be genuine be yourself. And when I say be yourself, be the best version of yourself, right? So it's really, really important to keep that in mind, because sometimes we say to people, be yourself, and they'll come out on a live video in gown, no bra, whatnot, sleep in their eyes. So that's not what I'm talking about. Be presentable. I'm talking about your energy. Be authentic in yourself, because that's how you're going to capture your target audience. The other thing that I would say is, I think it's more about attraction marketing. So for me, as I said, my journey has changed. So from the weight loss, then obviously I got pregnant, and then it was very much health. I was using the products during my pregnancy. I actually had the most customers I ever got when I was pregnant, funny enough. So it just goes to show you. Then after the pregnancy, as some of you guys have seen my journey, I gained so much weight. But during that time of me being so overweight, my business was booming. It was still booming. I was still getting clients. I was very focused on health. I was very focused on attraction marketing. So for me, it might not be predominantly before and afters, but the way that I try and captivate people is with, I guess, the lifestyle aspect. And this is the same with the products. I know people talk about that with business, but I share my journey with my kids. I share food, you know, the usual that we know, but I am myself. And I feel like people gravitate towards me because they can see that I'm being genuine. So as much as we have a product to promote, try and also think about you as a person and put yourself out there a little bit more, because for me, it's never failed me. So I've always kept it quite simple in that sense. I've never been one to cold message, but I do build relationships. I do interact with people. So make sure you're interacting with people, building those relationships, not for too long. I remember at the beginning, the biggest mistake I made was to build these incredible friendships on Facebook. Then 6 months later, I see they're posting up, they've ordered from Sandra. And I'm like, hold on a minute. But I never actually put it out to them that, hey, I'm in a business. Hey, would you be interested in what I'm doing? So make sure that you are assertive whilst building those relationships. What other tips could I give? Obviously doing videos, video clips. So when I first joined, the first 2 years, there was no live video. But I used to do short little video clips, 1 minute videos, sharing my personal journey, sharing about the products, little meals, cooking, making the shakes, the usual stuff that we all do. But above all, I think it's just about the consistency aspect of it. And when I say consistency, yes, consistently post on your Facebook, but be consistent with yourself, because sometimes we just throw stuff up for the sake of it because you've had this, be consistent, right? You have that day, you get up and you're like, I've got to post, quick copy and paste, you know, find an old picture of myself drinking the shake, but you're really in bed with your head wrapped, right? So that I'm speaking from a place of I've done that, but I find there's a difference when you're consistent with yourself in terms of the standard of your page, in terms of the standard of the content that you're putting out there. Your energy is transferable and people respond to that a lot more. I know when I'm just throwing things up for the sake of it, I don't really get much from it. So I try and maintain that consistency with myself. Make your life easier and have content days, guys. Sit down, think about what exactly do you want to be putting out there, because we are in a marketing business, right? Let's not pretend this is actually, people are qualified to do this. People studied to do this. We weren't taught that, so we have to make a bit of extra effort. Sit down and have a content creation day. What is the energy you want someone to feel when they come on your page? Plan out your days. And if you need to prepare your content in advance, like I used to when I was busy working, Sunday was my content creation day. I was talking to one of my teammates the other day and I was like, I would literally have like 5 outfits laid out, put them on, take my pictures, make the video quick, throw on another top, you know, go outside, you know, and that's what I had to do, even in terms of working out, because I was trying to work out then. I knew I would work out in the morning, but I didn't always have the time to now do the video and all of this stuff. So I would do it all on one day, have the content ready. And when I'm on the go, I can just throw it up. So that was a big lifesaver for me, and it maintained the standard and the consistency of my page.
Amazing. I love all of those. And I think, it's a lot of stuff sometimes that we know it, but you just need to rehear it, like being on plan, being a product to the product, being consistent. The content days for me have been a game changer, especially with Instagram, which I hate. So they've really helped with that. But I love that you said be consistent with yourself, because we hear, all the time, be consistent, but not actually with what you're posting and with this, but actually with you and with your goals and how you're showing up. So really, really love that. Thank you. And then moving on to the business side of things, Lyna, because obviously, you're absolutely amazing at this. What would you say, your top few tips for recruiting or bringing in new team members?
Recruitment. The first thing I will say with recruitment is, my top tip is you need to start doing it, right? And I always say this to my team. People say, I struggle to recruit, can't recruit. You go and see what they're doing. They're not actually doing anything. They're expecting people to magically come to them. So the first thing is you need to think about sorry, Andrew's here playing videos and I'm like talking. He was recording me, oh bless you. So think about what is it that attracted you to join the business, number one. What was it that really got you into it? Because that's usually a good starting point in terms of how you're going to bring in other people, because it's going to be authentic, right? You're going to connect with it, right? So for me, what really got me to join the business, like I told you guys, was my pain, the pain of where I was at. And also seeing Sinead posting about, her lifestyle with her little girl when she was a baby. That straight away was a click for me to be like, oh my God, I want a privileged child. I want my son to be privileged. So at the beginning, that was very much how I recruited, was using my story. And I'm sure you've heard it before, stories sell, right? The foundation of your business, whether it's product or business, I firmly believe is your story. Every single one of us has got a really powerful story, especially when you're fresh in. My God, it's so much easier to recruit when you're fresh into the business, or maybe you're not at that top position. I know that sounds like, all right, Lyna, you can say that, can't you? But it's actually a struggle. And I was saying this on a Zoom the other day with my team. It's not the same giving someone information and they're like, oh, okay, so how much, how was it? What's it done for you? How much do you make extra? Oh yeah, well, 60K a month. Really not realistic, right? So when you're building, that's the best time. So the first thing is your story. Master your story. Sit down and write your story, like what Sarah just did with me. What was your before? What is the now? And what do you want the after to be? Record yourself. I know this sounds silly, but it helped me. Do a video. It doesn't have to be live. It's for your own purpose. Do a video and record yourself sharing that story and really connect emotionally with it. So that's the first thing. Share your story consistently in all types of ways. There's so many different types of ways you can recruit people. So you've got the money aspect of your story. We all need a little bit of extra money, right? You've got the time aspect. You might have the motherhood aspect if you're a mom, right? You might have a traveling aspect. Have you always wanted to travel? Maybe you're a social person. Do you love the social aspect of the business, right? Or maybe you're someone like me who I just always struggled with authority figures. I hated working. This is the longest I've ever had a job. I used to just get fired all the time. I'm not even joking. I was late, I want to have a nap in the middle of the day. I'm tired. I don't want to be told what to do. That was me. And I actually used to talk about that very openly and just say, well, employment is not for everybody. That doesn't mean that you're written off. There is another way to do things. So share your story in different ways. The other thing I will say is you have to actually connect with people. And when we talk about building relationships, I used to speak to people, but I would go in very direct. I would just literally just be like, look, I've just joined this business. As we've built up a relationship, maybe by third conversation, just joined this business. I don't know if you or anyone you know will be interested in extra income, but this is what it's done for me. So I'm not directly saying to them, but I'm like, if you or anyone you know, and that worked really, really well for me. Sharing, as I said, your story, but sharing the lifestyle aspect of it, guys. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why should anyone else be? Why should anyone else be? If you're really passionate about this business and where you're at right now, and I know sometimes when you're not where you want to be, it's very easy to get caught up in that. I want you guys to stay in the place you're at and be proud of yourself. Whatever you have achieved, whatever you have done that has got you here, be proud of that and share that energy. put that out there. I see so many people trying to recruit. I'm looking for 5 people who want to make an extra income every single day. It's the same thing, that those direct statuses. That won't necessarily capture everybody. It might get you 1 or 2 here and there, but it probably won't bring you the superstars, as if you call them that, the diamonds, if they exist, right? The people who are actually serious about it. So get creative with how you're actually marketing the business. The other thing is live videos, not you, but joint lives. Joint lives, when they came out, oh my God, like, sorry, you know me and my team, we were the kings and queens of, I think they still are. I'm not as much. I think I slowed down, but a lot of them still are on live, joint lives. I used any and everybody in this business, and I would ask them to jump on a joint, share their story. The worst thing they're going to do is say no. It wasn't even just people within my team, it was the whole Juice Plus world, anybody and everyone. So make sure that you're showing people that there is other people, because it can start to look a bit pathetic. You're always looking for 1 team member, 2 team members, like, where is everybody? Are you really part of a team? Like, that's how I look at it from the outside. When I see other people doing it in other companies, I'm like, oh God, it's getting a bit awkward now. So try and show people the other people, right? Not everyone's going to relate to you, right? Me and Lucy, 2 completely different people. I might get Lucy on my live, and guess what? There's someone on my Facebook that will relate to Lucy and her story, and vice versa. So try and mix it up in terms of the stories that you're putting out there, but you cannot go wrong with an interview and doing it consistently. So we used to have Success Sundays. We used to do 7 days challenges where we would do like 7 days of having a different guest speaker on every day, make 1 flyer, I don't know, women in business, organize your speakers, have them ready, and make that commitment every day, 8 p.m. People are going to come on and hear a different story, and make sure that they are, you know, different stories. Maybe you've got a younger person, an older person, a man, a woman, different races, whatever it might be, someone who was employed, someone who was on benefits, someone who was in the corporate world. Try and find people that will connect with different people from your audience. The other thing that you could do that's worked really well for my team, it's never personally worked for me, but I used to do it, was opportunity calls. So I would host opportunity calls, I would speak on opportunity calls. I've never actually recruited anyone from an opportunity call, which is annoying. Yeah, 7 years, never. I've never even got 1 person to come on and give me feedback. I must be really terrible at inviting, but it worked so well with my team. So I would come on, host them, and be guest speakers. And that's as simple as it gets. I know, obviously, you guys in your team, you do quite a lot of those. I think weekly, and then you've got the monthly one as well. So everything's already set up for you. So that's one way. But for me with recruitment, the thing that has never failed me is just picking up the phone. Anybody who does inquire, I pick up the phone. I straight away say to them, when are you available for a chat? I don't send information via messages. I rarely will voice note. I need you to show me that you want this, you know, make the time. If you're not willing to get on the phone and have a 10-minute chat so I can break it down to you, I don't think I want you on my team, because how are we going to now work together? So I know once I get someone on the phone, it's a done deal. And when I get them on the phone, I'm not telling them the RVC points. I'm not telling them about PB. I'm finding out about them. I want to get to know their story, and I want to connect with them. So I think I've built my team very much on connection and relationship building, and really just making people feel like they can do it. So I'm like a cheerleader type of person. So I will speak to you as if you've already joined. I want to know, what's your 3-month goals? Like, what would impact your life in the next 3 months, whether it's income wise or lifestyle wise. So once you get someone talking like that, you've already got them thinking that, oh my God, yes, this will be possible. I spoke to a girl the other day and she was like, 3-month goal, oh my God, you know, I'd love to book a holiday for my daughter or start saving for it. And I was like, okay, so how much would that be? She's like, what, £1,000 would be amazing. I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, when you join, I'm going to get you on a call and we're going to do a 3-month plan. I'm going to show you how you can work towards making £1,000 within the next 3 to 4 months. We can do a 90-day game plan. She was so excited. She's like, I'm going to join next week. Here's all my details. Just take them. So it's just about getting people to see themselves where they want to be at as well. I don't know what more I could tell you about recruitment. I think it's always just been attraction marketing for me. I do share my lifestyle, and I know sometimes people think lifestyle is about money. Not so much. I know when I first joined, I still shared the lifestyle. I shared the fact that I was with my baby, as we all do, and you're placing your orders, but I made it a bit more exciting. Everything that I did was linked to Juice Plus. If I bought a dress, it was thanks to Juice Plus. Yeah. If I got a can of Coke, if it wasn't for Juice Plus, oh,
you know what? I love that. It's so true. You know why? Because anything that we get in the house or anything that we buy, Jamie's like, oh, because of Juice Plus.
Right. I used to take the piss out of me for this all the time. And it was like, really, babe? I'm like, yes, thank you.
Juice Plus. Yeah.
Everything. So there's a lot that you could do in terms of recruitment. I hope that was useful.
Yeah, definitely some really amazing tips in there. And I think, like you said, it's about attracting people into the business and being consistent with it and doing it every single day, sharing your story. And like you said, actually doing it. Like we all say we want to recruit, and we had a call about this the other day. Like we all say we want to recruit, but how many times throughout the day are you advertising that you're recruiting? Not necessarily the direct post, but just sharing, I'm working from home, or I'm working from a cafe, or I filled up my car with petrol today, and all them little things.
Oh, that was a really good, oh my God, I rinsed that one.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Thank you,
know what you said? Yeah, exactly. Thanks to Juice Plus. You know what you said about you found it easier to recruit at the beginning, and it's harder when you've got this big success story. So interesting that you said that, because we had Emma Leyland on the call last week, and she said the exact same thing. And she said it's harder when you have this huge business and this huge income, because you're not relatable to people. So it's really interesting that you said that. So some really amazing tips there. And then last but not least, Lyna, what would be your top tips for anyone who is struggling right now or feeling stuck in their business?
My top tips for anyone who's struggling, if I think back to when I was struggling, we used to talk about this a lot, being stuck at QNMD, didn't we? I was QNMD for 3 years, 3 long years. And I kept going. And I remember getting really frustrated because I was doing everything, right? I was consistent. I was hosting Zooms. I was the epitome of leadership. I never missed an event, never missed a Zoom. I was the perfect team member. I was my best team member, and it just was not happening. And the moment for me it clicked was when I had to actually realize that in my core of cores, I was blocking it. So if you are struggling right now, I just want you to take a little bit of step back and stop focusing on the next position, stop focusing on where you should be or where you're at, and focus on developing on yourself as a person, right? So I know it sounds very cheesy, but it made the world of difference for me. I took a step back and started educating myself on certain skills, and that was my mindset, right? That was my core belief. You know, what is your core belief? What is the story that you're telling yourself internally? As much as we can all get up and paint this picture perfect life on Facebook, which I think, especially in network marketing, we're all guilty of. When things are not that great, you've got to show up and be positive. What is the core story that you're telling yourself? Are you really feeding yourself with those affirmations that you can do this? The other thing is, are you showing up how you need to be showing up? Because sometimes it's really easy to tell yourself you're doing everything. As I told you, I thought I was doing everything. I was the perfect team member. But the reality of it is I wasn't. I didn't have a strategy. I was kind of just winging it. I was basically doing what I didn't really have an up plan, but I was basically doing what other people, the successful people, had told me to do on the Zooms. But I'd never really sat down and thought, what kind of business do I want? What kind of team do I want? What would I do with my team? I had no system. So sit down and think about a system in terms of when you do get this magical team, have everything set up, right? Start working into being that leader. So whatever position you're going for, you have to grow into that person. Whatever it is that you did to get you to where you're at now, it's not going to work to get you to the next level. And sometimes we get stuck in that cycle of repetition. You need to now think outside the box. If you are feeling stuck and you've got a team, your team is not performing, I want you to let go of that for a second, because that was my biggest story. My team, my team, my team, my team, my team. I'm doing everything, my team, my team. And I had to just let go of that and love them where they're at. You know, those ones who do their 1-2 orders a month, I loved on them. The ones who do 10, I loved on them. I celebrated everybody where they were at. But the time that I stopped being so stressed was when I started working with people who deserved my time. Stop chasing people. That takes up so much more of your time, and it messes you up mentally, emotionally. It knocks your confidence. It's not worth it. And I'm not saying now go and start blocking people, blocking your team. Yeah, Kirsty, you only placed 1 order last month, block, get out my train. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that work with the people that deserve your time, work with the people who are showing up, work with the people who are reaching out to you. And we all know this, but sometimes you get caught up in that desperation. You want it so bad, you know, you're doing everything. So I would just say to relax a little bit and focus on teaching yourself certain skills. Like, I had to really study what is leadership. You know, I don't think a lot of people do that. I do not think I've come across a lot of people who will take the time to go and buy some books on leadership or listen to an audio on leadership. I don't really know a lot of people that have gone and tried to understand sales or communication or building rapport, for example, right? So go and slowly, I'm not saying stop your business now, but alongside what you're doing, start learning the skills that are necessary to develop you as a person. And these things I'm telling you don't necessarily show up in orders or team members, but they show up in you. And because of that, you're going to attract a very different type of people to your business. And that's what happened for me. That took me from QNMD for 3 years to bam, NMD, right? Then I was NMD for a year because I was busy being pregnant and giving birth. And after that, I was like, you know what, I need to get back into this. And I started having my routine in place. I started trying to re-educate myself. I started, you know, developing on myself. I started looking at my goals and having those big goals and, you know, setting myself those achievable ones, celebrating every little step of the way. If you've got it on your vision board right now that you want to buy a house, that's your big goal, right? But have you broken it down? Do you need to sort out your credit? I know we're going left here, but these are the things that really help me. Do I need to sort out what bills are affecting my credit rating right now? When you start paying your phone bill consistently through the 2 premium capsules or through your team hitting PB or you're supporting them, guess what? That's a big win. That stuff that was literally pumping me up. And I'm like, okay, 1 step closer, 1 step closer. So start doing things like that. And I'm telling you, it will show up. By the time I mastered all of those things, guys, NMD, IMD, EMD, PMD, PMD plus, Millionaires Club, all in the space of like 6-7 months, bam. Compound effect. After all those years of, yes, it was hard work. Yes, I can't say I was struggling because I did make a really good income because I built my structure very well. And that's another thing. Do you understand the business that you're in? Do you understand how we really make the money? You know, so understand the structure, understand how to structure your business in terms of PB legs, in terms of generations and all that stuff. Don't let it hurt your head, but have some understanding. It's all a compound effect. But my biggest tip, as I said, if you're struggling, you need to take a step back and work on you. The only reason you're not where you want to be is because of you. And that's always a hard pill to swallow that I had to swallow. I had to shift my energy. I had to show up differently with my team. Frustration was coming out of me and it was going into my team. And I thought I'm, you know, motivating them, I'm pushing them. That's not the case. I had to take that step back, work on me, lead from the front, and just start to trust and enjoy the process, guys. You know, if you've been SC for 2 years, all right, what have you learned from it? You got to SC, that's amazing. Let's move on now. Whatever got you to SC, you're not that person anymore. You need to grow now, right? Don't compare yourself to the before of wherever you got to. It's about moving forward. It's about developing yourself. And it's about taking massive, massive action within yourself behind the scenes. If your life is scattered outside of social media and Juice Plus, How in the world do you expect Juice Plus to fall into place? You know, maybe you need to organize a few things behind the scenes. I had to get office hours. I had to make time for things that I enjoy doing, because I realized that I'd kind of lost myself in NMD, that I didn't even feel like I was a present mom or a present wife. And I took a little bit of a step back, not like stopping the business, but I had to think and be like, how can I factor all of this in and still do the things that make me feel good? Because my energy changed from that. I became more positive. So I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Remember, it's a 3 to 5 year career, but just be realistic. Don't compare yourself to anybody unless you're going to match their work ethic. If you want to compare yourself to me, I need you to be up at 3 a.m. doing Zooms in Australia and USA, wake up at 6 a.m., do the school run. I need you to be on the go. So before you compare, just take a breather and think, am I able to do what they're doing? If you're not, or willing to, that's perfectly fine. Work at the standard that you set yourself. If you've set yourself a high standard, so you need to work for that. If you can see your standard is quite low and you're comfortable with it, that's you. But the minute you get uncomfortable, that means you're not growing. If you're uncomfortable with where you're at, you're not doing the work to grow as a person. And that's in business and that's outside of business. I could talk for more, but I'm
Oh, Lyna, honestly, just absolutely amazing. You've just thrown so many little nuggets out there. And I love that at the end. I've never heard that. There's a lot of quotes we have and we've heard and they've been around the scene and everything, but don't compare yourself to anyone unless you're going to match their work ethic. I love that. I've never heard that.
Oh, I'm not like her. Oh my God, she's better than me. She's better at the business than me. And, so and so looks better. But are you doing what they're doing? Why do we put ourselves down when we're not actually doing it?
No, so true. Like you said, you're up at 3 a.m, you're doing the calls and everything else. That's crazy. Lyna, you have been an absolute superstar as always, and I know how super busy you are, and I know you have crazy schedule. So I just want to honestly say thank you so much from me and the team. We really appreciate you coming on tonight, and I can't wait to party with you soon.
I feel like I haven't seen you in ages, but I really did just see you.
I know, but we've got the convention's not too far away. And stuff, so we've got some big parties coming up. But thank you so much, and girls, make sure if you don't already, go and follow Lyna and just do loads of tags and posts and stories and say thank you and top tips from the takeaways this evening. Lyna, thank you, darling. Take care, honey. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey.